Jordan Carter, CEO of Apex Innovations, the most prestigious and powerful corporation in the United States, was denied boarding on a Horizon Airways flight despite holding a valid first-class ticket. It wasn't a mistake or a glitch. It was racism, deliberate and unapologetic, aimed at a black man who'd risen from the ashes of Detroit's poorest streets to command a $350 billion tech, logistics, and AI empire. At 42, Jordan also sat on the board of Titan Enterprises, a $500 billion conglomerate with stakes in energy, shipping, and aviation, including a commanding 35% of Horizon Airways, more than the airline's own CEO, Edward Langston, could claim. That crisp morning at Chicago O'Hare International Airport, Jordan was bound for London to deliver a keynote at the Global Tech Summit, sealing a $6 billion partnership with the European Union's Tech Council, a deal poised to shift global markets. Clad in a bespoke charcoal suit and custom leather loafers, carrying only a titanium briefcase, he walked into Terminal 2 expecting the deference his status demanded. Instead, he ignited a reckoning that would topple an empire, expose a rotting industry, and cement his legend. Born to a single mother who worked double shifts at a diner, Jordan grew up in a crumbling apartment where gunshots were lullabies. At 14, he taught himself coding on a salvaged library computer, turning a knack for problem-solving into a lifeline. By 20, he'd hacked his way into a scholarship at MIT, graduating top of his class despite working nights as a janitor. Apex Innovations was his brainchild, founded at 28, with 50,000 scraped from savings and a vision to revolutionize logistics through AI. Now it employed 120,000, powered cities with smart grids, and held contracts with 40 governments. Titan Enterprises recruited him to its board at 35, recognizing a mind that could bend industries to his will. His 35% stake in Horizon wasn't just shares, it was a sword, and he was about to swing it. Jordan approached the premium check-in counter for Horizon Airways, a once iconic airline, now a hollow shell under Edward Langston's third-generation reign. Apex's $10 million annual travel account kept Horizon afloat, a fact Edward groveled over in private emails Jordan had seen. His ticket for Seat 1A was a given, backed by a corporate card that could buy the plane outright. Yet, Evelyn Harper, a gate agent with a pinched face, graying hair, and a clipboard clutched like a shield, stepped into his path. "Economy check-ins over there, sir," she snapped, pointing to a snaking line of weary travelers without lifting her eyes. Her voice carried the casual venom of prejudice, a tone Jordan knew too well from years of being the only one in boardrooms and elite spaces. "I'm flying first class to London," Jordan said, his voice a low rumble as he displayed his digital boarding pass on a phone worth more than her monthly salary. Evelyn glanced at it, her lips pursing as if tasting bile. "Economy's that way," she barked louder now, drawing eyes. A white man in a polo shirt smirked. A woman with a designer purse whispered to her husband. Jordan saw the script racial profiling dressed as protocol. He stepped past her to the premium counter, where a younger agent, a nervous kid named Tyler with acne scars, processed his check-in under Evelyn's glare. "Just need to verify this," Tyler stammered, typing furiously, his fingers trembling as he double-checked the booking. "It's fine," he finally muttered, handing back the pass with a forced smile. Security was a theater of degradation. Jordan entered the premium TSA lane, a perk of his ticket, only to be waved aside by an agent with a buzz cut and a dead-eyed stare. "Random screening, sir," the man droned, as three white men breezed through, one flashing a Rolex, another clutching a Wall Street Journal, the third joking with the agent about golf. The enhanced screening line was a gallery of color, a hijab woman clutching her toddler, a black teenager in a hoodie, an elderly Sikh man with a cane. The agent's pat-down was a violation, hands pressing into Jordan's shoulders, sliding down his arms, lingering along his thighs with a firmness that felt like punishment. His 80,000 Audemars Piguet watch, a self-gifted trophy from Apex's IPO, engraved with unbroken, vanished into a gray bin. "My watch is missing," Jordan said, his tone steel as he emerged. "If it was there, it had come through," the agent shrugged, barely looking up. "It was there, I placed it in the bin," Jordan countered, his voice cutting through the hum of the checkpoint. A 25-minute standoff followed. Agent smirked, suggesting he'd forgotten it at home. A supervisor with a paunch and a badge reading, "Daniel," circled, eyeing him like a suspect. Jordan dialed his attorney, Marcus Reed, on speaker, his voice echoing, "I need footage reviewed now." Only then did Daniels find the watch in a bin Jordan had never touched, muttering, "Mix up," without meeting his gaze. The humiliation seared, but Jordan's face remained a fortress he'd learned to store rage like ammunition. At gate C12, boarding buzzed with activity. Jordan approached the first-class lane, pass ready. Claire Mitchell, a gate agent with a tight blonde bun and a crooked name tag, blocked him. "Sir, this is for first-class passengers only," she said, her blue eyes raking over him, suit, loafers, skin with a suspicion that bordered on contempt. "I'm in seat 1A, Jordan replied, holding up the pass. Claire snatched it, studying it as if it were a counterfeit bill. "One moment," she muttered, retreating to a phone and whispering urgently, her head swiveling to glance at him every few seconds. A supervisor emerged, Thomas Grayson, a wiry man with graying hair and a scowl etched deep, his badge proclaiming him a customer service lead. "Is there a problem?" Thomas asked Claire, ignoring Jordan. "He says he's got a first-class ticket," she replied, her doubt a sneer. Thomas took the pass, giving Jordan a slow, appraising look from his polished shoes to his neatly trimmed beard. "Sir, are you aware that first-class tickets on transatlantic flights are very expensive?" The question was a slap, its racism naked. A white woman in pearls chuckled softly. A businessman in a pinstripe suit nodded approvingly. "What irregularity are you referring to?" Jordan asked, his calm a blade slicing through the tension. Thomas faltered, then doubled down. "We need additional documentation, passport, credit card, and company authorization for the purchase." Jordan handed over his passport and Apex's platinum card, its matte black finish gleaming under the fluorescent lights. "Company authorization isn't required by any airline," he said, locking eyes with Thomas. "Step aside while we verify this," Thomas ordered, gesturing to a customer service desk tucked behind a pillar. As white passengers, some with cheaper tickets, Jordan noted boarded with smiles and nods, he was led away like a trespasser. The verification dragged on, 20 minutes, 40, an hour, then 90. No updates just occurred, "We're working on it," when he pressed. From his seat, he watched the jet bridge door close, his plane rolling away, a $12,000 seat lost to their petty power play. He overheard two Horizon staffers nearby, laughing. "Thinks he's special, probably his first flight." The words were daggers, but Jordan's mind was already calculating. Thomas returned, his smirk a taunt. "I regret to inform you that your flight has departed. We can rebook you in 5 hours economy only. First class is full." Jordan stood, his 6'2" frame towering over the supervisor. "I missed that flight because your staff targeted me without cause. Show me the booking system." Thomas hesitated, his bravado flickering, then turned the monitor. 3 open first-class seats glowed on the screen for the next flight. "You're lying," Jordan said, his voice a quiet detonation that silenced the chatter around them. "Those are blocked for operational reasons," Thomas stammered, sweat beading on his brow. "Discriminatory reasons," Jordan corrected, loud enough for the growing crowd now pulling out phones to film to hear. "You detained me because I'm black." Thomas's face flushed red. He signaled security with a jerky wave. 2 guards approached. The taller one, a burly man with a buzz cut and a tattoo peeking from his sleeve, grabbing Jordan's arm with a force that bruised through his suit. "Take your hands off me," Jordan snapped, his voice cutting through the terminal's din. "I've done nothing wrong." The guard yanked harder, sending Jordan's phone, briefcase, and passport skittering across the floor. A woman gasped. A teenager filmed. An older man muttered, "Typical." As Jordan knelt to gather his belongings, he caught sight of Edward Langston, Horizon's CEO, watching from 20 yards away. Silver-haired, clad in a $5,000 London-tailored suit, Edward exuded old-money arrogance. "Some people don't know their place," he muttered to an aide, a faint smirk curling his lips. The words were a match to Jordan's fuse, and the fire was about to roar. His phone rang. Malik Evans, Apex's COO, his voice urgent through the chaos. "Jordan, the $6 billion travel contract Horizon's on the shortlist with British Airways and Lufthansa. The EU wants our decision by midnight." Jordan's gaze locked onto Edward, who was still smirking, oblivious to the storm brewing. "Remove Horizon from consideration," Jordan said, his tone a guillotine. "Recommend British Airways. Send the memo now." Malik paused, then said, "Done. Anything else?" Plenty, Jordan replied, ending the call. That was just the opening salvo. As a Titan Enterprises board member, Jordan controlled 35% of Horizon's stock, more than the Langston family's 20%, a legacy stake Edward had inherited from his grandfather, the airline's founder. One sell order from Jordan could slash Horizon's $8 billion valuation in half, sending it into a death spiral. But he held an even bigger card. Apex's AI division had been auditing Horizon for a $12 billion buyout, a deal Edward had begged for in a private meeting 6 months prior, groveling over cigars in a Manhattan penthouse. Jordan had the keys to Horizon's survival and its destruction. He dialed his legal team, then Titan's chairwoman, Elena Vasquez, a no-nonsense Cuban-American who'd climbed from poverty to power. Elena, activate Titan's voting shares, Jordan said. Call an emergency Horizon board meeting effective immediately. Cite discriminatory practices and fiduciary negligence by leadership. I want it live in an hour. Elena's voice crackled with steel. On it. This is war, isn't it? It's justice, Jordan corrected. Next, he called Apex's PR chief, Lila Chen, a media maestro who'd turned crises into triumphs. Lila, leak Horizon's stock instability to Bloomberg and CNBC, hint at a major shareholder move. Then prep a press release full exposure of their racism. Hold it until I say go. Lila chuckled darkly. They won't know what hit them. Within minutes, the terminal's departure boards flickered, then went black. CNN Airport Network flashed breaking news across every screen. Horizon Airways shares plunged 15% amid rumors of shareholder unrest. Edward's phone erupted with calls, his confident stride faltering as he paced, glancing at Jordan with growing alarm. Passengers murmured, pulling out phones to check stock apps. Some gasped, others cursed as their travel plans teetered. A businessman in a suit muttered, "What the hell's happening?" A mother with 2 kids glared at the blank screens. The atmosphere shifted, electric with uncertainty. Nadia Patel, Jordan's executive assistant, stormed through the terminal doors with Titan's legal team, 6 figures in razor-sharp suits, led by Marcus Reed, a former prosecutor with a reputation for dismantling corrupt empires. Nadia, a petite woman with a gaze that could cut glass, handed Jordan a leather portfolio thick with evidence. Your documents, she said. Titan's board is live in 15 minutes via secure link. Horizon's scrambling, they don't know what's coming. Jordan nodded, his mind a chessboard, every move calculated. He marched back to gate C12, his team of phalanx cutting through the crowd. The PA system crackled to life. Attention, all passengers. Due to an administrative action, all Horizon Airways flights are temporarily grounded. Please stand by for further information. The terminal erupted, passengers mobbed desks, shouting, "What's going on? I paid thousands for this. Fix it now." Jordan stood unmoved, a general surveying a battlefield he'd just ignited. Edward rushed over, his silver hair disheveled, sweat staining his collar. "Mr. Carter, this is a terrible misunderstanding," he stammered, his voice loud enough for the cameras now swarming the scene. "I personally apologize for any inconvenience," Jordan cut him off, his tone ice. "This isn't about inconvenience, Edward. It's about systemic racism you've nurtured in this airline for decades." He stepped onto a chair, his 6'2" frame towering over the chaos, and raised his voice to a resonant boom that silenced the terminal. "My name is Jordan Carter, CEO of Apex Innovations and a board member of Titan Enterprises. I control 35% of Horizon Airways, more than its CEO standing before you. Today, I was denied boarding on a flight I paid for, not because of any error, but because I'm black. This isn't an isolated incident, it's Horizon's playbook. They just picked the wrong man to play it on." Gas rippled through the crowd as he held up the portfolio. "I was here to evaluate Horizon for a $6 billion corporate travel contract they've now lost to British Airways. Apex was also considering a $12 billion buyout to save this sinking ship, a deal I've just killed. I could own this airline tomorrow, but instead, I'll dismantle it." A black woman in a blazer stepped forward, her voice trembling with years of pent-up rage. "I've flown Horizon for 15 years business class every time. They've randomly searched me on every single flight, every single one." A South Asian man in a turban joined her. "Last month, they downgraded me from first class because a white woman said I smelled." The flight attendant smirked and said it was policy. A Latina grandmother, tears streaming, choked out, "They took my grandson's wheelchair at the gate and laughed when he cried. They called him a burden." The stories poured forth, a dam breaking each a raw wound, each met with nods and murmurs from others who'd lived the same. Jordan opened the portfolio, revealing 6 months of Titan's covert audits ordered after he'd noticed patterns on his own flights. Emails from Edward Langston dismissing diversity as a PR stunt, he read aloud, his voice carrying to the back of the terminal. Stats showing black passengers are 80% more likely to be randomly screened or downgraded. Testimony from ex-employees, dozens of them claiming Edward ordered staff to watch the urban types and keep first class clean. The crowd roared, some in outrage, others in shock. He held up a USB drive. And this? A recorded call from 3 months ago, Edward bragging to his CFO, "We keep the riffraff out of first class. It's what our elite customers expect." Edward lunged forward, his face a mask of panic. "This is slander. Let's discuss this privately. I'll fly you to London on my personal jet, Mr. Carter. Full compensation." Jordan's laugh was a shard of ice. "I don't need your jet, Edward. I own your fate. Apex's jets could buy your fleet twice over. Titan's shares can sink you by lunch. You're done." Cameras swarmed, news crews pushing through the crowd, catching Edward's unraveling live. A middle-aged white man in a golf shirt shouted, "Get him out of here!" A woman in a red coat spat, "Go fly with your own kind." The racism hung thick, emboldening a few, shaming others who stepped back, heads bowed. Then, a bombshell dropped. A whistleblower, later identified as a Horizon Airways tech, leaked TSA logs to Twitter in real time, tagged Horizon Reckoning. The logs showed Jordan's ticket had been flagged pre-flight as high risk, coded under a profile match protocol Edward had personally approved 2 years prior. The crowd turned feral, booing Edward, chanting shame as phones lit up with the leak. A teenage girl with braids held up her screen, yelling, "It's him! He signed off on it." Edward stumbled back, his aide catching him as his knees buckled. Horizon's board arrived 5 suits, led by chairwoman Diane Kessler, a stern woman in her 60s with a reputation for damage control. Her face was ashen as she approached. "Mr. Carter, we need an emergency meeting now," she said, her voice tight. Jordan nodded, stepping down. "You've got a 1 hour." In a secured lounge, cleared of gawkers, Titan's legal team unleashed hell. Marcus Reed laid out 200 pages of evidence. Edward's emails, the stats, the testimony, the recording. A second twist hit. Internal memos showed Horizon had lost 3 $50 million corporate accounts in the past year due to discrimination complaints, hushed up by Edward's PR team. A third shock, a hidden camera clip from a staff meeting, leaked by a janitor, showed Edward laughing. "If they don't like it, let him walk to London." Edward collapsed mid-presentation, clutching his chest, gasping, "I can't." A panic attack, not a heart attack, doctors later confirmed. Jordan took charge, barking, "Call paramedics now," as he loosened Edward's tie and eased him to the floor. His humanity stood stark against Edward's venom. Cameras outside caught the moment through glass, a viral image of Grace under fire. Paramedics whisked Edward away, his eyes wide with a shock as he stared at Jordan, the man he'd underestimated saving his life. The board reconvened, Diane's hands trembling as she announced, "Edward Langston is terminated, effective immediately. Horizon's fleet is grounded, a $50 million daily loss until we rebuild trust. We're launching a full audit and reform." She turned to Jordan, pleading, "We need your guidance, Mr. Carter." His response was iron. "Trust isn't promises, it's power seized and wielded right. I'll oversee every step. Fail me and Titan sells. Apex sues. You're on notice." The fallout was seismic. Horizon relaunched months later, new CEO, a black woman named Aisha Brooks, a diverse crew on its first flight, Gate C-12 reborn with murals of equity and multilingual signs. Edward vanished, later spotted teaching coding to black teens in Detroit, a penance or a PR stunt, no one knew. The industry quaked. New federal laws mandated demographic tracking of passenger treatment. Rivals like Delta and United scrambled to reform, fearing Jordan's wrath. Apex filed a $1 billion lawsuit against Horizon's old guard, alleging fraud and breach of contract, a case Marcus Reed vowed to bleed dry. Social media crowned Jordan a hero. #Jordan Carter trended for weeks, his face on Time's cover. the man who grounded racism. It began with a black CEO denied a seat, who turned prejudice into a weapon. His power, a tidal wave that drowned an empire and rewrote the skies. From Detroit's shadows to the world stage, Jordan Carter proved no one could deny him his place, not without paying a price that echoed for decades.